Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Chit Chatting with Kate Carr. Welcome to spooky season. This month, we're going to aim for all types of spooky Reddit stories or spooky videos. We'll see what comes along. If you have any specific Reddit threads you want me to read or videos to watch or react to, whatever the case is, be sure to either comment or shoot me an email because I would love to do some personal digging and see what you guys want to hear. I think this is going to be a fun month. I'm here for the spooky season. I want to embrace it while it's actually still here and it's not already Thanksgiving. So I feel like doing these videos is just going to make it more fun and exciting. And if you're a spooky season person, welcome. Let's get into these spookier stories. Side note, I'm trying the Not Your Mother's Curl Talk, styling gel. So I guess we'll see how this progresses throughout the video. This is not spooky or scary unless my hair dries and frizzes up like crazy. But I'm trying to embrace my natural waves and I can't find the right product. So I'm just testing out little guys. And so far, I don't know. We'll see how it works by the end of the video because I feel like it'll probably be dry by then. And a side note, if you have any recommendations for the mermaid waves, please let me know. I'm here to take all the recommendations for the products because, I don't know, I just want to embrace it and I can't if I don't know the right products to use. So this week's video is going to focus on the Reddit thread r/sleep paralysis. You heard it here first. It's about to be about sleep paralysis, so if you ever experienced it, you know how damn creepy it is. And if you don't want to watch this video, that's okay. I'll see you in the next one when it's not as spooky and creepy. But if you want to be a little spooked, keep reading. I don't know the full extent to these stories, but I know that I have two of my own personal stories I would like to share that relate to the Reddit threads that I picked because I just read the titles and we need to get into this. If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis before, please let me know if you want to share your story. As always, I'm here to take your guys' personal stories as well. So let's get into this first one. The first story is titled, "Got Sleep Paralysis for the First Time Today and I'm Terrified." I want to chat real quick about my sleep paralysis experiences because it's my channel and why not talk about me? Technically, this wasn't my first sleep paralysis experience, but this is the one, like I said, I've had two that really have stuck in my head, and this one was just as terrifying. It was basically like the first time. So this title, when I read it, I instantly thought of this time that I moved into my first college apartment. It was my sophomore year. The way that the house was laid out, basically it was in like a basement, and I shared the floor was basically 2 bedrooms and a kitchen, and then we had our whole upstairs, which was like 2 other roommates and stuff. But the way that my room was laid out was basically you walk in my door, there's a closet, I had a vanity, my bed, and then the window. So when I'm laying in bed, my feet will go to the end where my closet is, but also that's where the door is. So I'm laying like this, and I guess sleep paralysis really comes when you're super stressed and stuff, which makes sense. But that level of, it's something, it's literally making me stumble over my words because it's something you literally will never forget. I'm assuming, I forget the exact time period when this happened, but I'm assuming it's when I first moved in, the stress of just college in general, and then having your own apartment for the first time. It just must have all combined. But I remember, literally, I'm out of breath thinking about it. So I'm laying in bed. I had some sort of dream, and then what's common with sleep paralysis is literally in the name, you can't move, but you're so freaking scared. You're at this weird in-between level of sleeping and consciousness. I don't know the science behind it. And quite frankly, I do not want to look into it because I feel like it'll just happen to me more, and that's not what we want. So I don't remember the dream exactly, but I remember being so afraid, being literally in my bed, lying on my back, which I don't normally do. And I've seen stuff too where if you lie on your back, that gives people sleep paralysis. So maybe that's why I must have adjusted in my sleep and then it all happened at the same time. But I was lying like this. My feet are covered because I do not let my toes hangle and dangle by the edge of the bed. Maybe this is why. That's probably not why. But literally I was just lying in bed straight like a corpse. And then I look at the edge of my bed and it's it was definitely a person type. It wasn't a shadow. It was definitely a male, scary figure I don't know the exact face, not that it had an exact face shape like a human, but it wasn't like a monster-y type or like more of like a spirit type. It was a human in some sorts. But I remember slowly like kind of coming like, not through my closet, like I already saw it, but it was kind of like chilling by my closet. And then the more I like looked, I woke up in like the middle of the night too. So like my TV's like, it was either on a timer or it was on like those like still screens where it was like dark. So it was not light in my room, maybe like peeking from like the window a little bit from like the moonlight. But I remember this thing like slowly coming towards me and like kind of like getting down to basically where it would be like at the edge of my bed and like kind of like peeking around. I don't know how I fell asleep so fast, but the second that I remember seeing it go like down and like kind of creeping, I was literally like, go back to bed, go back to bed, go back to bed. Like kind of see that you see in scary movies where it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm telling my brain I'm done. And I guess that worked because I definitely don't remember anything past it. Maybe it ate me in my dream. I have no idea, and I'm glad to not know, but I remember that moment, and I probably will remember that for the rest of my life because it is terrifying. So all that to rope back into this first title, got sleep paralysis for the first time, and I'm terrified. I'm a senior in high school, and today we had a trip to the museum. The bus ride was approximately 2 hours, and I wanted to nap the way through. We went off at 9:30 a.m. I usually fall asleep very easily during bus rides, so I wasn't worried at all. Sat next to my friend, put on my favorite podcast, and fell asleep. I fell asleep, dreamed about the podcast, but I knew it was a dream because the podcast was off topic and I already knew it. But when I was waking up, I was still with my mouth wide open, which is quite normal for me. But as I wanted to close and moisten it because it was dry, I couldn't. I tried to take a deep breath, but couldn't. I wanted to move my legs down because they were close to the front of the chair, but suddenly I couldn't move them. All of this happening while the podcast is still in my ears. After like 2 minutes, I woke up and was totally shocked and exhausted and then fell asleep again. Then my head fell into my friend's shoulder while I'm in paralysis and awake and start to have hallucinations that the seat next to me is starting to stretch like slime and then the seat in front of me, and then woke up and fell asleep again. My friend who was sitting next to me leaned a bit forward and without controlling it, my head fell behind his back while I'm awake but paralyzed, mouth dry and can't take a breath. When we were close to the museum, I woke up and was beyond shocked. The paralysis happened during falling asleep and waking up. Is it going to happen again? I'm really scared and it was a terrifying experience. So OP, I am so sorry, but you're probably going to remember that for the rest of your life, especially those like waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep. Like this commenter says, I'm so sorry you're experiencing this. I've had chronic sleep paralysis since I was in elementary school and it was absolutely terrifying. 30 plus years later, I'm still shook when it happens. Pay attention to your stress levels and sleep hygiene. A lot of the times it's triggered by being overtired, bad sleep cycles. I live with this and no way to explain what I was experiencing because we didn't have the internet back then. At least you have this group and know you're not alone. Exactly. That's the good of Reddit. That's when Reddit can be good, right? I feel so bad for OP, but like the commenter said, like checking your stress levels, and obviously most of the time that's not really much stuff that we can control, but you know, take the elements where you can control it. Stress level and also obviously sleep routines are super important. If you're somebody who is probably experiencing this a lot, I'm not obviously an expert or anything, but like that just seems like the basis of avoiding sleep paralysis. And if you don't want to be terrified like me, OP, this commenter, and anybody else who has had sleep paralysis, then I don't know, maybe take a CBD gummy or something before you go to bed. Maybe I don't know if that'll help or hurt, actually. Don't take my advice. I literally have no idea. But I'm so sorry, OP. I hope that is it a museum? But I hope that the museum was amazing, and I hope that you had a great bus ride back. Story number 2 is trying to scream during sleep paralysis. I have a story for this one, but I'm gonna save it for after because this is like a shorter read. Lately, my sleep paralysis has gotten pretty bad. Usually, I'm really able to tell when I'm having sleep paralysis, dreaming, but lately it's become so realistic that I cannot differentiate it in the moment. Anyways, lately when I wake up, it's after I've been trying to scream, but since I can't move my jaw, it's never a real scream, but an attempt at a vocalization. When I finally wake up, I can never tell if I have actually been trying to scream or not. Has anybody else experienced this, or perhaps am I dealing with night terrors? Okay, so me, OP, and these many commenters also relate to this, and if you ever had this part of sleep paralysis, not only is it frustrating, but it's terrifying because you are so stuck in the moment that you literally, like OP said, like, I can't tell if this is real or not. So my family used to go to this like Irish festival every year, and the one year I went, it's like a weekend long thing. It was a little bit after, I think I was still recovering from getting my wisdom teeth out. So I was still like, not loopy, but like I still had like the pains and like was eating mashed potatoes and the ice pack stuff. So thinking at it now, it was probably relating to that and having like the wisdom tooth removal and all that fun stuff. But I remember this one again very vividly because we were down the shore, we were in the place we were staying, and it was like bunk beds that I was sleeping in. And it was morning time, and in my, what I thought was real life, I woke up, tried to get out of the bed, couldn't move, so I started screaming. And I felt myself like getting breathless, but nothing was coming out. So it's literally just like, and you're screaming, hoping for help, hoping that somebody's going to hear you, but nobody's hearing you because there's nothing coming out of your mouth. And then it happened to me again. I woke up in the same spot doing the same thing. And it's kind of like that weird, like, I guess Inception type of thing, like a dream and a dream and a dream. Never watched Inception, but that's to the extent I know about it. But basically, it's so scary when you have that situation where you're screaming because you're scared and you're in fear and you don't know what's going on. In that situation, I'm not exactly sure what scared me. I didn't see anything. It was just like that thing where you wake up, you fall asleep, and you wake back up. You fall asleep, you wake back up, and you're trying to scream with all your might, but nobody can listen because nobody can hear you screaming, and you just feel alone, and you're like, I need to get out of this. And then you start panicking, which I guess that leads to more like falling asleep and waking back up and screaming and not being able to actually scream, and that just leads to more stress. So like when I finally actually woke up, you have this sense of being like, is this real? Is this real life? Am I going to go back to sleep and wake up again and try to scream? And I remember like actually like trying to make a noise. Nobody was in the room with me, but I remember going like, and like the fact that I could actually do that was so relieving because I was in the stage of probably what happened for like, I don't know, probably like 20 seconds, but it felt like an eternity because like you just sit there and you wake back up and you go back to sleep and you wake back up and you just go, I need to scream, I want to scream, and you literally, nothing can come out. And again, it all relates back to stress, so we love stress. So OP, I am so sorry that you had to experience that, but I get what you mean, and it is so scary when you literally like can't voice your voice. Okay, so I have 3 more stories, and these ones don't have to do with me because I only had 2 sleep paralysis experiences in my life, but we'll see if a story pops up that maybe, because some scary stuff has happened to me, like spiritual wise in my life. So let's see if anything else relates, but we're gonna get to the rest of these stories from OP. This next one is titled, My Girlfriend Only Gets Sleep Paralysis in One Location. And that honestly stuck out to me because that is, I'm so sorry for OP's girlfriend, but it's kind of interesting to kind of see what the story might be about. Because like, I wonder if something happened in like her past life or her life now, or she just has these recurring dreams where she's in this spot and, you know, something is bad and stressful has happened. So I guess we'll see what happened or what maybe didn't happen. My girlfriend and I work night shifts delivering, and we often pull off into random parking lots and take naps if we can't continue. There is one and only one place that we stop that will give her sleep paralysis every time. She will sleep the exact way we do in other parking lots, and it's not even a creepy lot. It's super well lit. We've slept in creepier places, and she didn't get it there. Has anyone experienced a locational sleep paralysis as well? We can't help but to think that there's something in this area. Tonight, in the same place, she started hyperventilating and it woke me up. I started shaking her and asked if she was okay. She said, yeah, I was just trying to wake myself up. I immediately thought that was strange because she usually was not okay after that, but I was half asleep too and fell right back asleep. A few minutes later, she was hyperventilating again and I shook her again. This time, she really woke up, very distraught, and had no recollection of ever speaking, but felt me shaking her the whole time in her dream. Also, another note, there was one time she slept while I drove in the same area, and I just randomly had the feeling to wake her up. At first, I didn't want to bother her, but it was so strong I ended up waking her up, and she immediately told me she had sleep paralysis again and was screaming in the dream for me to wake her up. I'm so glad that OP is like trying to like comfort their girlfriend in so many ways that they can. So sweet. All in all, when I read the story, I feel like there has to, like he said, there's something happened there, like, and this is gonna go on like a spiritual, like ghosty level, like something happened and like maybe like OP's girlfriend has like some sort of like sixth sense and maybe like something bad happened to like another person in that area and they're screaming for her to realize what happened. This is really deep and this is a real spiral, but like maybe like an unsolved like case happened there, and like OP's like kind of like a medium, and OP's girlfriend's like a medium in a way, and she feels this, and she feels the sleep paralysis because of all the stress of that area that it's holding. Maybe not for herself, like, but like just in general, like she has maybe a gift in some way to where she can kind of feel that like stress of others, which causes her to get into this weird distraught like sleep paralysis in these one locations. I don't know, that's where my mind instantly goes, and that's like the only thought that I have going on. Of course, let me know if you have any other thoughts in the comments, because I'm very curious to hear like what other people might think that like this is, or maybe you're more well-versed in sleep paralysis than I, of course, and like you have like an answer to this or something along the lines of this. I'm just very curious to see what other people have to say about this, because this is kind of like, this is very scary, but it's also very interesting in a way because it's only at that one specific location. So I'm wondering what all went down. This next one is titled, I saw a man during a sleep paralysis once. I've always been affected by sleeping disorders. I'm a sleepwalker, and I've also had night terrors a few times when I was young. I also have to say that I'm a very anxious and stressed person. I get it, OP. So this story takes place when I was 17. I had a very stressful year at school because I had exams and a lot of classes. I had changed schools because I didn't get accepted into my new studies in my previous one. For those wondering, in my country, we students have crazy schedules. For almost every day, the schedule was about 8:30 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. and the buildings were so dirty, never cleaned. We had a lot of homework, and it was very stressful for me, and I was far from home. So because of the situation, I have had sleep paralysis. I already had some when I was younger, but like very occasionally. But this time, I was having sleep paralysis every single time I was closing my eyes. I couldn't sleep at night. I was sleeping in class, having sleep paralysis during my sleep in class. It was so scary to me. I couldn't work properly and my exams were coming. This literally sounds like Freddy Krueger type sleep paralysis. The sleep paralysis lasted for about 2 months. Thankfully, I got the best grades in my class and I could finally sleep at night, but I was still traumatized at this period. A month after my exam, I was on holiday in my hometown. It was just a path with some houses. It's near the beach and very far away from any big town. I was lost in nature, and our family house specifically is surrounded by trees. It's a very quiet and peaceful place. I've never felt insecure or in danger there. Well, that changed. That sucks, because it's your hometown, you're like, oh, I feel finally safe, and then it changes. During that month of holiday, I was waiting for an answer from my new school. In my studies for the last year, I had to choose a phonemic, and one I chose wasn't in the current school. Anyways, you can guess this gave me more anxiety, more stress again. Before talking about the main thing, I need to describe to you the room I was sleeping in. Our family house is near the beach, so we had this kind of double room separated with a boat door. And in each room, you have a bunk bed. It's very small rooms, and from my bottom one, I could see the other room. That night, I was alone in that bedroom. There was a storm outside and the trees were whistling. Even though it was kind of scary to be here alone, I fell asleep fast. During the night, I woke up. The storm was gone and the moon started to show herself. I'm afraid of the dark, so I do not sleep with the shutters closed. I feel that, OP. I tried to move. I wanted to sleep more, but I couldn't. My body was not able to move. I understood almost immediately that it was a night paralysis, but when I did, I heard a deep breathing coming from the end of my second room. When I looked up to it, I saw a man. He was standing there staring at me. I'm saying it's a man because the body was like it, but if I had to describe it, it would be more of like a dark creature, which literally that's what I was thinking of in my first story. Like when I said that it was like, it wasn't necessarily like, it was basically like a man figure, not like a demon, but like it was a scary like dark figure that kind of resembled and gave man vibes. So this is literally what I was thinking too. I couldn't see any details on the face, only big white eyes with small irises and a large smile. I'm literally like getting creeps from this. I think I stared at him for about 5 minutes. I couldn't run away. I was so scared, but I still couldn't look away. His breathing stopped. The silence lasted for about a minute before the man starts running to me, and when he reaches me to touch my face, that's when I could move. I just screamed and then he was gone. I could not sleep at all during the rest of the night, and in the morning, I talked to it about my family, who said I was just dreaming and it was all in my head. There's a high chance it was in my head, but I cannot forget this man's eyes in the dark. OP, no, I literally have goosebumps. I'm terrified, OP. And I'm so sorry that your family just like chopped it up to being like, oh, in your head, all in your dream, which I guess essentially yes, it's in your head because it's coming from stress and you're dreaming, but I'm a believer of there's multiple states of consciousness, and like there's some not good things within those levels, and I am with you, OP. I'm so sorry that you had to experience this. I also know that I said I was done stories personally, but this reminds me of a story from my mom. Basically, when we grew up in this home that was very, very hostile, not good vibes, not good energy, and there was this lingering like spirit, basically, multiple not good ones, but this one that my mom literally woke up one night in the middle of the night, this man who literally had like, it was just like a brimmed hat, and he was leaning against the door, but it was like a shadow man. And I feel like this is also like a story that has been told, like that's like somebody else, like other people have experienced this like shadow man with a hat and stuff, but like the way she describes it, I'm not doing it justice, but this reminds me of that, and it's 1000% was like some sort of her sleep paralysis going on. But just seeing that is just terrifying, and I'm so sorry again, but that is going to stick with you, OP, and that is so scary, and I hope you never have to experience that again, and I hope you live a very easy, breezy, beautiful, peaceful life from here on out. And this last story I'm going to end on, it's still sleep paralysis, but it's a little bit more lighthearted than the other ones. If you know me, then you know I love a good coffee, and this one stuck out to me because the title literally is Sleep Paralysis Becomes Less After Quitting Black Coffee. Hi, I've been suffering from sleep paralysis seriously, and I was so tense with this. I've been drinking at least 2 mugs of black coffee daily. I stopped drinking black coffee last August. Since then, I haven't faced any episodes. Is black coffee related to triggering the sleep paralysis episodes? Which it was funny to me because as terrifying as sleep paralysis is, maybe this sounds like millennial of me, like don't talk to me before I have my coffee, but like, I don't know if I could quit my black coffee in order to not have sleep paralysis. Thankfully, it doesn't happen to me very often, knock on wood, but having black coffee sounds a lot better than maybe not having sleep paralysis. I don't know. I don't think I could give up the caffeine of it all just to maybe not have a sleep paralysis. I'll control my stress in other areas if that's gonna level out what I need to not have sleep paralysis, but then also have my coffee. But a lot of people are not a lot, there's 3 comments, but basically the comments are overall saying that like since sleep paralysis kind of comes from your quality of sleep along with your sleep levels, like the caffeine from the coffee aren't directly affecting your sleep paralysis and making you have sleep paralysis, but it's affecting like your quality of sleep, which again, it'll just trigger into a full circle of not sleeping well, getting stressed, and then sleep paralysis, and then it'll just grow and grow and grow. So that could be a cause, but it was just funny that this one stuck out to me because it was a little short guy, and it was just like, is black coffee the reason behind my sleep paralysis? I hope not. So these ones are I'm like excited for spooky season now. Honestly, the last story that I read really got me into the vibes. The other ones are terrifying, of course, especially because I know how it feels to be in sleep paralysis mode, but like that last story really gave me the chills. So I think for my next video, I haven't have it planned out yet, but I want to get like really creepy stories. Like I want stories that are going to literally give me goosebumps and make my hair raise and make you creeped out and make me creeped out, and we just want to have these spooky, creepy vibes. I'm here for it. I want to get in the mood, okay? Like I said, before it's gone and we're in 2025 already, I would love to get into this creepy, spooky mood. So that'll do it for this week's episode on r/sleep paralysis. Again, if you have any sleep paralysis stories and you have any spooky, creepy stories that you would like me to incorporate, or maybe an idea or anything, please let me know because we got 3 videos left. Depending on my mood, maybe there'll be some bonuses, no promises because we don't know how it's gonna go. But I would really like to get the full month and get spooky and have spooky stories and just get into the spooky vibes. I appreciate you so much for watching and watching through the whole video. Whether you're a returning viewer or a new viewer, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that YouTube decided to sprinkle me into your algorithm. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch another one of my videos. I got plenty, and then I'm just gonna keep giving you more and more. So you might as well catch up on my old videos, watch up to the new, and just keep updated by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. That way that you can tell me that you're enjoying the content that I'm creating, that I enjoy creating, and then you also tell YouTube that you're enjoying the content that I'm creating. So I'll keep creating the content that I enjoy creating, you enjoy watching, YouTube enjoys pushing, and we're just gonna keep building this big gal pal community a spooky gal pal community this month, and we're just gonna keep going with that. And again, I appreciate you so much. We're just gonna be rambling now, so we're gonna end it here. Again, I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.